Welcome to today's episode of the Intensify series, and today I want to talk about the site that magnetizes success. The site that magnetizes success. If you recall, in our previous episode, I've talked about the 3 layers of Intensify, which is the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. And in the past series, I've focused more on the spiritual. Right now, I want to transit to the other areas. Now, the spiritual is the most important. Unfortunately, we are not taught about this in school. Man is primarily a spirit. Man is a spirit. When man dies, the body is on the ground. The soul does not function on the earth again, but the spirit remains. The spirit remains. And when we've gone to schools, many of us have spent 20 years in school, but you have been taught a lot about your body. You've learned anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and the rest of it. You've learned a lot about your mind, your soul. We've learned about emotions, psychology, psychiatrics, different kind of things. But you see, no, I don't know about you, but I've never been taught about my spirit in school. Never. And life is largely spiritual. Man is a spirit. And so we'll spend the first few days, or the last few days, talking about the spiritual aspect. Today, I want us to move to the next one that is very important, which is mental. Unfortunately, many people just go and start working with their hands, start trying to get things done, and they miss out in life because they are operating at one layer and also the weakest layer. The mental aspect is also very important. The mental and the spiritual aspect is where differentiation happens. That's where people are set apart. You know, there was something that Jesus Christ said that struck me so much. I started seeing life in a different way. That was in Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. He says, I say to you that anyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery in his heart with her. Wow. by just looking at a woman lustfully, he says you have committed adultery. Now, the first time I saw this, I felt it was too stringent an instruction. But as I began to look closer, I noted that I was missing the point. Jesus Christ was not giving an instruction. He was telling us a fundamental principle about life, which is what you behold is what you become. You will actualize what you visualize. You will always actualize what you visualize. This means that there is a way I can look at a level of success that I want to achieve. I look at it so much. I visualize it to the point where I actually experience it. Now, I'm going to share with you 2 live experiments that have been done. One that happened several thousands of years ago, and one that happened just recently on the university campus, to show you how our visualization is so powerful. The first is a man called Jacob. He practiced this with even animals in the book of Genesis 30, from verse 29 to 43. Please permit me to just read a few aspects of it because I want you to see it. What happened is that Jacob had a master, and they wanted to share the sheep and the flock that they had. And they agreed that anyone that had speckle or spots in the body will belong to Jacob. And anyone that doesn't have spots on the body will belong to the master, which is Laban. Now look at what Jacob did in Genesis 30, verse 37. It says, then Jacob took some fresh branches from poplar, almond, plane trees, and peeled off strips of the bark, marking white streaks on them. Then he placed those peeled branches in the watering trough where the flocks came to drink. For that was where they mated. And when they mated in front of the white streaked branches, they gave birth to young that were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Look at that. For animals, it made sure that what they were seeing as they were drinking and conceiving was speckled, was spotted, and they gave birth to spotted animals. Listen, our visualization is very powerful. There was also a recent study that was done by one MIT student. He did a project, you can Google about it. He linked Google search engine to his brain, such that when you ask him any question, he would silently ask using the computer. He will ask the computer with his mind. And when he asks the computer with his mind, he will get a vibration of the response in his inner ear. So if you tell him, they ask him, what is the city of Bulgaria, for instance, and how many people are in that city? Of course, nobody can cram all those things. He would think about it. Then when he thinks about it, the computer will pick it, and then the response will come back to him through some vibrations in his inner ear. By just thinking about it, the computer will pick it, and then there will be a search that will happen on Google, and the result will come out. This happened just recently. He was thinking about it and gets the result. He didn't have to speak. Listen, what you think about, you bring about. Your mind is very powerful. I see a lot of people, they work very hard with their hands, but their mind works very hard against them. And that's the reason why they've not been able to make progress. They're always thinking, oh, maybe I will not make it. Oh, I'm going to fail again. Oh, nothing seems to be working. Everything seems to be difficult. So some people even put their plight as their sight. The problem they are going through is what they see every time, and they replicate it. They multiply it because they are actualizing what they visualize. You cannot be moving forward with your hard work of your hand while you are moving backward with your mind work. That is highly counterproductive. The two have to work together. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, we walk by faith and not by sight. But if you look at it very well, it's talking about we don't walk by physical sight, but we walk by spiritual and mental sight. Because faith itself is a kind of sight. You are seeing what God is doing. You are seeing what is working for you. You are seeing what you want to see. And you are making that sight, spiritual sight, to be dominant, that mental sight, to be dominant more than what you are experiencing physically. So faith itself is a kind of sight. From today, I want to encourage you. Take away negative thoughts from your mind and focus on what you want to see. Visualize it. If Jesus Christ says that if you see a woman and you imagine having adultery with her, you've already committed it. And that MIT student can think about a Google search and it gets the result back to him. Oh my God. You can produce lots of things by just thinking about the right things. Where you are right now is not as important as what you are seeing. Abraham saw descendants coming after him. And you have the seed, the blessing of Abraham inside of you. And there is a peculiarity of the blessing. The blessing is such that once you see it, the blessing will fix it. Once you can see it, the blessing will fix it. It's like a car. Once you turn the steering in a particular direction, the whole body of that car moves in that direction. Once you see it, the blessing will fix it. That is the code. That is the code with which the blessing works. Once you can see it, the blessing will fix it. Even Jesus Christ did the same thing. Hebrews 12:2. Who for the joy that was set before him. Who for the joy that was set before him. He despised the shame. He was able to go through the cross. Many of us, we are distracted at the toys that the devil is throwing at us, instead of us to fix our gaze on the joy that is set before us. And that's what the devil is trying to do. His mission is to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So he wants to destroy your sight. He wants to destroy your vision. He wants to make your plight your sight. He wants you to be focusing on the wrong thing. He wants to steal your vision away from you. But you need to stay focused on what is true and what is right. I like James chapter 1, verse 25, the NIV version. It says, but whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continue in it, he says that person will be blessed in what they do. Whoever looks intently. So in intensifying to get result, you must be looking at the right things intently. You look at the word, you look at where God is taking you, look at them intently, and that will soon become your experience. I hope this bless you. You can put your chats and your questions if you have any, and I'll get back to you. And don't forget to share with your family and friends. I look forward to the next session.